Episode 38 of the DrewCast. Episode 38. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 38 of the DrewCast. I'm your host. Can you imagine if I started off every episode like I'm your host? You guys already know, do you know what I mean? 38 episodes and you already know I'm the hook and host, you know what I mean? And I didn't cuss, I said the H. Because if YouTube tries to I said huckin'. Not FN, but with the H. So it's already it's gonna get shadow banned regardless, bro. That's just who it is. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in again. Before we start, I want to apologize. The last couple of weeks have been shorter material. We're working on some music right now. We are working on bangers, bro. So me and Josh actually have a whole album working on. So there's that. Me, Dustin, and Josh are working on a single right now. Before we do start, though, I do want to shout out a couple people. So Jay Fitty just released his album, Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Guys, go cop it, okay? I listened to it front and back. And I do say so myself, Jay. I told you I'd review it. I did send him some personal messages about it. It's a good project, man. I'm glad I could be a part of that experience. And by that, I mean by listening to it. So yeah, you guys, go cop that shit. Okay, second, there's someone who watches the show who supports the channel. His name's Eddie Lopez. He has his own gaming channel. And yeah, go support him too, guys. He's a good person, man. And to be honest with you, I wish I was as good at COD as these guys are, because these guys kill it in COD. So I don't know. That's a popular thing though, isn't it?
What?
Like people who watch others play COD. Streaming,
COD is just big in itself, yeah.
I don't think that's everything he's gonna do, but I'm trying to get him on the channel too, because since he's such a big supporter, I'm trying to get him I think that'd be a cool little collab. I was supposed to have Josh here tonight. You know what I mean? Because the first topic was about oat milk. So and I'll start off by saying this. So before I met Emily, you guys know who she is, right? It's not fine. All right, no, but before I met Emily, I drank regular milk, out of a cow, and I didn't really do any research. I didn't really care, whatever, milk's milk type shit. But I guess oat milk is the new craze, because every time we go to Starbucks or Dutch Bros, I'm not joking. This literally happened, okay? I go to Starbucks. There's a couple Starbucks near me. I go to one, okay? The guy goes, I'm like, hey, can I get a white chocolate mocha, 2 extra shots with oat milk? He goes, well, there's a nationwide shortage of oat milk, so we can't totally give it to you.
I've never even heard of that, to be honest.
But it's okay, a nationwide shortage.
No, I'm saying I've never heard of oat milk.
Oh, it's good, bro. Yeah. You guys should drink it. Not only is it good for cereal, it's good for coffee. It's literally going to be the future of milk. We don't need to drink cow milk anymore. We really don't need to. That's why, remember I made that status on Facebook where I was like, hey, there's certain things that you should research, and if you continue not to do certain things, you're willingly being ignorant. Right? I think oat milk's one of them. And like I said, it goes into what I was about to say later on in this conversation. But yeah, the guy goes, there's a nationwide shortage. Okay, nationwide? Because I go to the Starbucks down the street and I'm able to get it. So is that Starbucks in a different country, bud? You know what I mean, buddy? I literally thought about what the guy said at the last Starbucks. Oh, there's a nationwide shortage. Because clearly there's not, bud. Clearly, I went to the Starbucks down the street, and they have oat milk. What is that about? You know what I mean? What is that about? But yeah, so one night, me and Josh, he's about to go to bed, and I'm fucking high as fuck when I tell him the story. But I remember I pushed oat milk onto him like I was a drug dealer. I went into the kitchen, I opened the fridge, and he goes, oh, and I said, bro, you guys are so clutch in this house. Because, when you live with roommates, right? You have this thing where you buy stuff and you're worried that they're going to eat or drink it, okay? You're like, fuck, guys, I bought this. Don't drink it, right? But with these guys, they're so fucking unhealthy and they're so fucking disgusting with their diets. Me and Emily can get all the vegan and vegan food and drinks we want. And I know these motherfuckers aren't going to drink or eat it. Because these guys their fucking diets are disgusting. You know what I mean? Might as well wrap it up. Not playing Zach and Josh. No, fuck you guys. But no, Yeah, so I'm telling them like, bro, you guys are hella clutch because like me and Emily spend more money to get that stuff, but I don't have to worry about you guys drinking, eating it because you guys like chicken nuggets in the microwave. You guys like Dr Pepper for your everything you drink. No wonder you guys have kidney problems. You know what I mean? But like that's so I said thank you guys, thank you. I don't have to worry about like Emily's like who drink my oat milk like nobody because these guys drink Dr Pepper every day. So so I told him that, and as I'm telling him about oat milk, I felt like I was being a drug pusher, like someone who pushes drugs on people, like, oh, you should do this with it, bro, and this is good for you, and like, and so I thought it was funny because I'm like, hey, it is kind of the future of milk because I think it tastes better than milk, and I know there's certain people who are so stuck in their ways they don't care. Bro, I could literally tell certain people like, hey, this is actually really good, bro. There's this I know you and Kylie go to Target, right? There's this chicken at Target. It's not real chicken, but it looks and tastes exactly like real chicken and it's hella good. And I'm like, bro, like you could literally show this to certain people and they don't care. They're like, I think that's gay. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I think that's fake chicken? That's hella gay, bro. Like, no, it's healthy. You know what I mean? It's healthy, but so I was gonna ask you. So you said you've never heard of oat milk before. That's insane because Kylie likes to go to Starbucks. So you're telling me you've never heard of oat milk?
Yeah, I mean, they don't advertise it on their menu, so like I'm pretty sure the majority of people who go to Starbucks probably don't.
But the one guy was like, "Oh, there's a nationwide shortage." There's not, buddy. But you definitely should. I know, and I feel like I'm pushing it now onto people who's watching me. You know, but it's actually I use it for my cereal, my coffee. It tastes better, in my opinion. It tastes better. Obviously, when like, bro, I didn't know this, but like, people bleach cow milk to get it to look white.
Yeah, it's because there's like blood
Like
in
pus and blood. Like, what are we doing? That's what I'm saying. There's certain things that like it's okay to admit as people, but we're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing that anymore. You know, like as we grow as a society, maybe there's like certain things like it's okay to be like, you know, man, we should probably lay off that. But like I think people are so brainwashed. Like if you try to show oat milk to like, you know, really uneducated people, like, and I'm not trying to make fun of uneducated people, but you know how they are. You show them anything new or different, they're like, that's God sent, you know, like God and gay, and it's like, it's everything turns into that. It seems like, which is funny. So, I want that'd be hella funny if like oat milk sponsored us. Hey, sorry about what that guy said about the nationwide shortage. You know, that was so annoying. Imagine being told that. Imagine in any other situation, anything else besides oat milk. Right? You
I
go to
wonder where oat
McDonald's,
milk
there's a
even comes
nationwide
from.
shortage on fries, bud. And then you go to the next one and there's fucking fries. Fries galore, actually.
Yeah, that happened when we ordered pizza like a week ago. We tried to order something from, I think it was Pizza Hut.
And he said there was a nationwide
No,
shortage.
he didn't say it was a nationwide shortage, but we were like, hey, you know, can we get this? And he's like, oh, we don't have that anymore. Well, not anymore, as in like they don't sell it. They just didn't have it for that day. He's like, oh, we don't have that anymore, but I'd be glad to offer you this. And Kylie was like, oh, you know, no. So we called the other one and they had it. I'm like, bro, why does...
What
like
was
you're
it?
saying.
What did it?
I can't remember exactly.
Was it like cheese or something? We don't have bread.
No, it was you know how they have like a box, it's like
Yeah.
a dinner box. We tried to order that, and one of the items that they usually give you,
Was
they
it
just
on
didn't
there?
have. But then the other one was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I was like, hey, why you know, like you said, why does this one have it and you guys don't?
I mean, clearly the guy didn't want to do his job. It's fine. Just say you didn't want to do your job.
And it wasn't even that late. It was on a Friday, and it was like 9:00. That's like prime pizza hours, dude. A Friday, 9:00 on a
That's
Friday.
when all the stoners are getting pizza. Maybe, bro, we got to start paying people more, dude. You know what I mean? Because I'd understand.
That's fucking trash.
I understand if you said, hey, there's no oat milk here at this location. Because I can't get it anywhere now. Like when I go to Target or Winco, it's like always out because it's really popular now, right?
Well, that explains the nationwide shortage.
But then, bro, it's not a nationwide shortage. Why did you say that?
If you can't get it anywhere, then yeah, that's a nationwide shortage.
No, but like I went down the street and got it. Or I go to another Target and I say, like, bro, you just said something to say something. You just said something to say something,
I
basically.
mean, yeah.
Nationwide shortage, huh? Oh yeah? I said, oh yeah? Fuck out of here, bro. But yeah, this next one has nothing to do with Oat Milk. It actually has to do with Jeff Bezos or Bezos. I don't know what his name is. I don't care. He's a billionaire. I mean, I don't have to. I don't care. Here's the deal. So I posted a picture. I posted a picture online. It was just a meme. It was just a meme of I think it was Elon Musk and Richard Branson. You know, about how all the billionaires want to go into space now and stuff. And like, I had people commenting, and I don't blame this guy because like, apparently he didn't know that like Amazon workers have to piss in bottles and capitalism is destroying the fabric of like human society and all that other stuff. But it kind of leads into like what I'm about to talk about here. So Jeff Bezos goes into space. He comes back. He came back. Did you see any video from that? So not only did Jeff Bezos have like a weird laugh, like when they asked him a question, he started like chuckling like a supervillain.
Obviously, you have grander space ambitions than going to the edge of it. Did this moment motivate you to push deeper into the cosmos?
Hell yes.
But a lot of people don't think that the actual Jeff Bezos came back. Now, it goes into like this whole like anything can be a conspiracy theory because like technically anything can. Like we weren't up there, so how do we know Jeff Bezos came back on that spaceship? We don't. We really don't. Like we really don't know if Jeff Bezos came back. Now I'm assuming he came back, okay? But when they asked him like, "Oh, is there more of space you want to explore?" and he said, "Hell yeah!" and like started like doing like this super villain laugh. And it's like, bro, Jeff Bezos, dog. Like I don't want to say names, but there's a lot of people I know who don't know workers piss in bottles. They don't know that. It's like, how do you think Jeff Bezos knows that?
Yeah.
Do you think he really? Because there's people I know.
Well, he's the owner of that company, so
Like
you would know if they were going through terrible PR like that.
They piss in bottles? Come on, man. I mean, he probably hears about it. Bro, they literally give you your own piss bottle. I'm about to bring someone on. Bro, literally, listen up. If you've pissed in an Amazon piss bottle, hit me up. And if you have proof, you're coming on the podcast. We're talking about it. Because apparently people don't know that they do that there. Right? So one of the guys that would comment on the status, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if, I didn't ask permission. But he was basically like, oh, these people work hard for their money, which they do. I don't know. Some of them don't. But the whole thing is, it's like, bro, am I not allowed to criticize people? Like, you're going into space. Earth is shitty. You have enough money to help fix a lot of Earth, but you don't. And your workers piss in bottles.
I actually read today that he addressed that. He addressed the fact that like he realizes that like there's problems here on Earth, so going to Mars is like not something that they should be doing, but they're gonna do it anyway. And like he made like a $200 million donation to some fucking thing. I'll put it up during editing, but
okay, nice. Then nice. Then I'll eat crow. Then I'll eat crow. I mean, I'm not judging billionaires for having billions of dollars, right? Because at some point, everybody that's ever been alive wants to have that type of money. Okay, but the problem really boils down to something that even local people like me and you deal with. Once you start climbing the ranks in any facet of life, you start climbing ranks, okay? And as you start climbing, you notice that like people only like you and want to help you if you have clout and money, right? So you start to become really bitter towards everybody. Like I'm doing that now, right? I'm becoming super bitter about podcasting and music. We work with these people, they don't share the work we do with them. They record songs with us, they record videos with us, they don't share. They don't promote. These people like that we grew up with, that we went to high school with. We've done hella favors for them. As we climb the ranks, oh, white boy this, white boy that, white boys took the game over. It's like, okay, so now when I have the money and resources to do something, I don't want to help because I don't care anymore. So I'm assuming someone who's a billionaire feels that way about Earth. Like, hey, I climbed the ropes to get to this point. I don't care about helping anybody. Now, maybe for me, it'd feel better if they just came out and said that, right? Because the way the world works now, it's like the top 1% have all the money and the bottom 99% are like working for that 1%. Like, of course, we all, like, we see problems with Earth, right? And we say what we think would fix it, but we don't have the resources to do that, right? So I'm not mad that Jeff Bezos went to space. It's just like, it sucks because like these guys have so much money. It's like, hey, you guys could help. Whether we don't know where your money's going to. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, anything could be a conspiracy type shit. That's what it seems like. But yeah, I didn't think he was coming back from it. You know, honest to God, when he went up into space, I thought this whole Jeff Bezos thing was gonna be like, oh, the ship exploded and we lost billionaire Jeff Bezos.
Guy
and
just like fakes his own death.
yeah, like I didn't think he would come back down and just start laughing like a supervillain. That wasn't a part of my agenda.
Well, they're not even going into space, right? They're just like
Floating above Earth.
yes, yeah. It was like there was a word for it.
Imagine, like, do you think other planets do that? Like the richest person on that planet just gets to, I'm just gonna go space travel now. You think about the time period we live in, bro, where like that isn't a thing yet. So for thousands of years, humans weren't even able to leave the state they lived in or the continent they lived in. And now all of a sudden, we're like right before space travel, but right after Earth exploration. Like we live in like a really weird time period where like cell phones, planes, cars, modern medicine. But think about it, just in the stuff we have now, people went thousands of years without it. And in what seemed like a 50-year span, all this stuff started booming. We live in a really interesting time period, man. I will always go down as in the book saying that we live in an awesome time period. Because 50 years from now, we're going to be we could be going to other fucking planets and other solar systems. But I think
They were only 62 miles
above the atmosphere.
sky. It was called like surface atmosphere, some stupid shit like that.
They
They were
though.
in space though. Like it's just not the space that we're thinking, where it's like pitch black.
Yeah.
You know, stars and.
That's still weird as hell, though.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's still weird as hell.
Just because I think that they're not guaranteed safe at that
Yeah.
height. Which is really weird because we went to the moon in like the fucking 60s, 70s.
Yeah. But they
But
said
they're
we don't
not
have the technology to go back. It's
so
funny,
they're
though.
like not. Yeah.
It's hilarious. The next one. If you guys have not seen Loki, please skip this. I'll put a timestamp, just in case you haven't. I'll do light spoilers, okay? But basically, I watched Loki. It is one of the first Disney Plus Marvel shows that I actually really liked. Front to back, liked it. There is some, like every show, there's minor flaws that I believe there's flaws in. But it does push the future of the MCU forward, which I'm super excited for. You have not seen it at all, right? I said no? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but basically, let's just say the villain for Phase 4, it's a good villain, bro. Like, it's an awesome villain. So, part of the show, Dustin, is like, when Loki touches the Tesseract, remember in Endgame, and he gets, shot off into a different, that's how the show starts. And a group called the TVA picks him up, which is called the Time Variant Authority. Yeah, the Time Variant Authority. It's a group of people who control the timeline. They call it the Sacred Timeline. Loki gets picked up. He's not really supposed to be alive, remember? Because he's supposed to die in Infinity War. So like he's a variant basically. And they don't like variants because they, branches off different timelines. So they have a problem at the TVA. Someone's going around and like killing people and like fucking shit up. And it's actually ends up being another variant of Loki which ends up being a girl version of him called Sylvie. It's a girl version of Loki. And they showed different variants of Loki throughout the show. Like there's the old man Loki with like the original like comic book outfit. There's a alligator Loki. There's like a kid Loki, a black Loki. I think there was one more, but I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, their whole goal is to figure out who's behind the TVA, right? And basically, let's fast forward to the end. It's King the Conqueror. So when they go to the end of time, right? It's this guy. It's supposed to be I guess what I read was the character supposed to be a Mortis, which is a different version of King the Conqueror. And he basically says that all the universes, like the multiverses, are stacked on top of each other. And there was like a multiverse war back in the day. And he made it to where there's only one timeline now. And he's basically telling them like, hey, I know everything that's going to happen or that has happened up until this point, basically. So if you kill me, like he was basically offering them like, hey, Loki, you can have the throne. You can take over Asgard. You can defeat Thanos. You can defeat the Avengers. And Sylvie, you'll go back to where you want to go. But if you kill me, you're going to unleash my other variants who are more powerful and more evil than me. So Loki's trying to convince her like, hey, let's just like, I really care about you. Let's not do this. Like, we don't know what this is going to cause. And like, they end up kissing, which is funny because they're both Lokis. And, I really care about you and love you. And like, all of a sudden she's like, yeah, well, I'm not you. And she kicks Loki back into like this portal that takes him back to the TVA. Which Owen Wilson's in the show, which he does amazing, by the way. And he doesn't say wow, which that's like a, what I mean?
I wonder if that was in like the contract or something.
So, Sylvie like turns around and she kills King the Conqueror. Or Immortus, or, whatever variant of King the Conqueror that is in the show. She kills him and he goes, see you soon, as he's dying. And like behind him, outside of his cathedral, like the timeline starts splitting. Like, so instead of being one line, it's like starting to branch off into like hella different spots. And they all start like forming and connecting. And it was actually pretty cool. Everybody at the TVA is looking at the screen like, oh, what do we do now? What's going on? So when like Loki goes to warn them, they're like, oh, who are you? Like that was actually a kind of sad part in the show. They didn't even remember who Loki was. And he looks like he walks forward while everybody in the background's like kind of panicking. And it was almost like Planet of the Apes, where he saw when he saw the Abraham Lincoln ape statue, he like walks forward and he sees the statue of King the Conqueror. And like, it basically, bro, that's the villain for Phase 4. So the Spider-Man movie that's coming out, Doctor Strange 2, anything going forward is basically going to be around the multiverse and like King the Conqueror. And like, if you guys know who King the Conqueror is, like he is pretty a badass villain because like he's basically like a time traveler who can go to any time period, any century, without causing like, when the Avengers try to go back in time, like like Hulk was warning them like, oh, we could like mess things up if we do this. Like he could do that without messing things up. And like he can get any technology he wants. And like he's basically like a, Tony Stark has like the armor. He has his own version of armor that's like controlled by his consciousness. So that's going to be very interesting. I like the actor they picked for King the Conqueror too. So that was a good actor choice. But yeah, I'm excited for the future of the MCU. So if you guys haven't seen it, I apologize. Obviously, we put a timestamp, but I'm going to end tonight's show off with, I'm actually going to reveal to you guys something really cool. So I'm going to talk about some of the biggest interviews that I've lost in this last 2 years, which is crazy to think because like I've tried to do so many different interviews and some of them didn't work out. Some of them did. Some of them I didn't like. Some of them never got released. And there's some that I've actually lost and never had the chance to do. So the first one I'm going to talk about is I was supposed to do the Ducey interview. A lot of you guys that watch me might know who he is. He's a pretty popular person from the state. I think it was Say What's Real episode 35. I did Say What's Real episode 35 with him. I thought it was good. Justin did a phenomenal job in the editing. I sent the before we made it public, I ended up sending it to Ducey and he ended up not liking it, and he didn't want me to release it. So I still have that in the cut somewhere if one day he ever wants me to release that. And I easily think that could have been our first 1,000 view interview, bro. I really think to this
I
day.
thought it was funny. Like it was. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, and I think that could have been like our first big episode. It sucks that he didn't like it. He wanted to do a bunch of stuff too, like have more people come up and be on the episode with him. And like at the moment, me and you kind of don't have the equipment for that, which sucks because I would love to do that. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's, whatever you guys, I was down, bro, but it just sucks because like the space we have and the equipment isn't meant for that type of stuff. So it was kind of unfortunate. The second interview, though, a lot of you would be very interested in this. I was supposed to interview Ted Bundy's first daughter, like his first real daughter, because he has a daughter, right, that everybody knows her as. I think her name was Rose. And, like, that's like if you go to Google or you look him up, he's only known to have one daughter. But this lady came forward to me and she said she was his actual first daughter, Ted Bundy. And when she told me and Justin her story, me and Justin traveled up like an hour to go see her. When she told us the story, like, and I did some research behind her story, it did seem plausible.
Yeah, she didn't seem like she was lying.
No, not at all.
It's just that we had no hard evidence.
Yeah, we just
prove
didn't,
anything
and that's
she
why
was
we
saying.
didn't go forward with it. Because she said there was, though. She said there was letters. She said there was pictures, but her mom wouldn't give her the pictures to give to us. So we didn't, like, me and Justin couldn't just put her on camera, bro. So,
Yeah,
you know,
because imagine if we ran with that story with like no evidence whatsoever. I that's why we ultimately didn't.
Yeah, that's why we
would just
ultimately
look like
didn't.
fucking
Yeah.
idiots.
because we could have ran with that story, bro. And
it didn't seem like she was lying.
And we had to put and it was right at the month where Amazon was releasing their own documentary about it, remember? And me and you had a hella good thing planned for that, bro. We really did. Me and us were gonna kill it, dude. I did some research behind that story, right? And apparently around the time she was born, Ted Bundy had a girlfriend at the time, but he had hella side chicks, bro. And in this, I was watching documentaries and reading up about Ted Bundy. He had hella side chicks, and like when we talked to the woman, remember she said, "Oh, my mom was mad because she's in denial about being a side chick, bro." And then I watched hella documentaries and researched about him, where like during that time period where she said she was born, he had a girlfriend, bro.
He was just fucking around.
Yeah, he was. Maybe she didn't know. And think about it, yeah, from the mom's perspective. I'm a side chick to a serial killer. I had a kid with him, and I don't want to be known for that. It sucks because that was a hella big story that me and you had, bro. Like, that would have really opened up our channel. Like, all the mom had to do was give us, like the photos and the letters she said she had. That would have really done some crazy stuff for us. When me and Justin talked to his daughter, it didn't seem like she was lying. You're right, it didn't. We had a good conversation with her. Like, nothing seemed out of place here. And it sucks because, like, we really planned for this to be, like, a huge thing. And, yeah, the next guest that I ended up losing was the Green River Killer's son. I apologize. I forget if it's the Green River Killer's stepson or his actual son. But this person lived with him their whole entire life, right? And Josh ended up working with this guy. Josh actually worked at Red Robin with this guy, and I wanted that interview so bad because this is after we lost Ted Bundy's daughter interview. And I'm like, yeah, Josh, tell this guy, like, I'm ready. Because this was his actual son, bro, or his stepson. I forgot if it was stepson or son. But, like, they lived with them, bro. The guy didn't want to do it either, man. The guy ended up telling me no. He's like, oh, my family's been in the press for too long, and this is something I don't want to rehash, which I totally respect, but like it sucked. It sucked losing that interview. That also would have been one that like kind of broke us open and like on terms of like being, you know what I mean? Because like who gets to do that nowadays? And we literally had two back to back. It was weird how like, because Washington State's kind of known for serial killers.
That's what I was just gonna mention. Is this guy lives in Washington, works in Washington. The other girl lives in Washington and works in Washington.
And Ted Bundy lived in Washington for a
while. That's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't seem like she was lying. There was some dots that you can connect. It's just unfortunate.
But this guy seems super, and not to say that the other girl wasn't legit, but this guy was his actual son. Whether it be stepson or actual son, he lived with them. that was his dad, because like, you know, so it was like, to me, I was like, damn, bro, that would have also been another good one, because you never hear about serial killers, in my opinion, you don't, from like certain other people's perspective. Like, hey, did he? I could ask the son, like, hey, did he ever show signs, or like, did you guys ever think it was weird that this guy was out all the time? Like, what? Because you never know, bro. Like, you never know that dynamic. Which, yeah. And besides that, I can't even think of another interview that I kind of lost out on, or, you know, I ended up losing. I do want to interview Heartless one day, which he's a very well-known battle rapper. His dad's also a famous actor, so that'd be interesting. He said he wants to do it. I'm down. I gotta. Not that I don't feel comfortable, but it's like, you know, I can't mess this one up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, everything has to be perfect about that day. He's a really humble guy too, Heartless. So like, he knows that like my intentions are good. He even says like, hey, I don't do interviews or podcasts, but I'll do it for you since you're my guy. Which that means a lot, but that means his interactions with me have made it to where he feels comfortable to want to do that with me. Pause. But it's a good one. And he would say pause too. Shout out Heartless. But yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. Like I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but we have a Red Room out on the channel right now. Go check that out. The 2-year anniversary video for this channel also came out a couple weeks ago. Check that out. Me, Josh, and Justin have new music on the way. This is gonna be a good ass year, bro. Like it feels super good to be a part of this right now. It really does. And like, I haven't said this in a couple weeks, but again, if you guys can do me anything, just take care of yourselves, okay? Don't listen to people when they tell you you can't do certain things. Don't listen to people who make fun of your dreams and make fun of you in general. Yeah, we're not doing that, okay? All right? So until next time, guys, peace.